Hi, welcome back to Real Reviews. This is Cody Williams, and we're here to talk about the movie Inside Out 2. After 9 years since the first film released in theaters, we have finally got the long-awaited sequel that most have been clamoring for. I will say that I actually did enjoy the first film when I first saw it back in 2015, but I just don't think it warrants a sequel. As much as I want to be proved wrong, let's see if this movie is good or not. So, let's talk about it. The movie story follows the return to the mind of newly minted teenager Riley, just as headquarters is undergoing a sudden demolition to make room for something entirely unexpected. New emotions, joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust, who've long been running a successful operation by all accounts, aren't sure how to feel when anxiety shows up, and it looks like she's not alone. Well, it's better than I initially thought. To be fair, I haven't been impressed with an actual Pixar film since Turning Red, released a couple years ago. I thought they really fumbled the ball with just how bad Lightyear was. Now, I will admit that I never saw Elemental from last year because it looked so bland. Anyways, Inside Out 2 is a good movie, but it's simply not as great as the first movie was. I'll get into detail what I didn't like later, but for now, I want to talk about the great things the sequel has going for it that all include some top-notch animation, fantastic writing, and some very fun voice acting. While retaining the same animation style from the first film from 9 years ago, I feel like the visuals in this sequel feel more polished and it looks phenomenal to say the least. The amount of details that went into the animation is pretty amazing, and it's definitely one of the better Pixar movies, visually speaking. When it comes to the voice acting, almost everyone returns for their respective roles, like Amy Poehler, Phyllis Smith, and Lewis Black, and they are all great in the sequel as well. Unfortunately, Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling did not make the cut because of salary disputes, so do with that information what you will. I wasn't overly impressed with the voice actor replacements for Fear and Disgust because it just wasn't the same. Other than that, I thought the voice acting was none other than tremendous. If anyone stood out the most to me, it would have to be Maya Hawke voicing Anxiety because you could tell she had so much fun with a character. As far as the writing goes, well, let's just say it was fantastic. I love how the story adds a new layer of complexity with different emotions this time around that all include anxiety, envy, embarrassment, and boredom. It adds a lot to the character development and makes things a whole lot more interesting. Speaking of these new emotions, well, sure enough, anxiety steals the show front and center and completely overshadows everyone else. I would actually like to have seen embarrassment, envy, and boredom have more screen time, but that just didn't happen. I get that the target demographic for this movie is clearly for the younger audience, but they didn't have to get the themes and messages to come across as super obvious as it was, such as overcoming anxiety and not letting your emotions define you. We get it. I just think it could have been done better in a much more subtle way. What this movie lacks is breathing room, obviously, because it is so erratically paced as it jumps from plot point to plot point so ridiculously fast. For a movie to be about emotions, it needs to slow down a bit and have some of that emotional impact marinate. With all that said, I still had a great time with this movie. Overall, Inside Out 2 is a unique and ambitiously fun coming of age story that has plenty of abstract ideas and slapstick comedy to entertain both children and adults alike, making this a very heartwarming family film. Issues aside, there is still plenty of fun to be had with this movie. Also, there are mid and post credit scenes, so make sure to stick around after the movie is over. If anything, this movie is just above average at best. I give this movie a B+. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Keep up with my real reviews.